Welcome, everyone. I'm super happy to host here today Marine and Bastiaan. We will be talking about legal AI. My name is Remy Bonafé. I'm the CTIO and Legal Operations Lab co-lead at SQ. In a very short description at SQ, we give oxygen to in-house legal teams, and we do that amongst others by advising on how legal teams can use AI. And that's essentially, of course, the topic for today. And I will start with Marine Lorch. Can you please tell us a bit more about yourself and the company you work for?
I'm the head of legal operations at AGS. So AGS is a Bell 20 listed company. It's a holding of insurance companies across Europe and Asia. Here in Belgium, you might know AG Insurance. We're the mother company there, or AG Real Estate. That is even more specific.
Then we have Bastiaan Rickaert. Please introduce yourself.
I act as an advisor for a holding structure, a bit like Marine, but in a privately owned conglomerate. My background is legal, but we are a small multidisciplinary team that helps and advises the holding structures and the shareholders of this conglomerate.
Nice. Thank you. Let's start with maybe the first point, and just as a general introduction also for our audience, how do you look at AI, specifically within the legal industry? And also, how have you helped implementing AI within your organization?
The way we approach it is to very much crawl before we walk, before we even run. It's low pressure. It's building up on the tools we have now already. So we're not going for a big bang revolution. We are combining the strength of both a generalist AI tool, which is Microsoft Copilot, that we're using across the company, and then legal specialized AI.
Do you offer trainings or sort of mechanisms to support the lawyers on an individual level?
What we're doing is really providing a starter kits for AI. What is AI? A few tips and tricks. The best use cases that we have been experiencing and we have foreseen also every month when we gather the whole legal team to have a moment to share on AI.
What's the role of your IT department or IT colleagues in that?
In our case, it's very much driven from a legal operations perspective. We have more of a larger AI strategy team sitting at group level. And there we are one of the business cases for the use of AI by support team, because it's completely different than using it in the business. So there we're very closely involved to the broader AI revolution in the group.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. Bastiaan, very curious how you look at AI personally, and also how you've gone about it at Catissa.
The better approach, I believe, is to have a bottom-up approach. Testing these little tools with your teams really allows those teams to get acquainted. And I think it makes your team much more ready and much more accepting of then a larger tool that would be implemented company-wide.
In my view, you really need both. I think having too much of one is a risk. I think the risk of having too much bottom up and relying too much on bottom up is that the efficiency gains that we're all so much hoping to get will be limited if you just stay at bottom up, because I think it will then stay in simple summarizations, translations, which are really useful, but they're not really gonna change the paradigm in the legal industry.
No, you need a system. You need a system. I mean, you have to get people acquainted with how it works, and then you need to have a system that they all can use.
What do you think about sort of the link with service providers that you work with, most notably probably law firms? Do you think there's a role there as well to leverage AI?
I think we can do a lot more in-house with these tools before we pass it on to outside counsel. And I think we're going to see a lot of resistance still from outside law firms. Not wanting to really proactively promote it because it undermines their current business model. But I think as an in-house counsel, you need to be very clear. I want to know whether you use it, how you use it, and how it can benefit me.
You mentioned earlier in the conversation that you're also using Spellbook specifically for contracting then. Could you elaborate a bit on that use case?
So Spellbook is an add-in in Microsoft Word, and it gives you a window that pops up just right next to your text. And it allows you to do different things with your text. You can let it analyze your text and come up with proposals to improve. You can ask it to negotiate the text on behalf of one of the parties that are mentioned. So it'll take the position of one of the parties and then suggest changes that are advantageous to that party as opposed to the other party. It allows you to import and to redline the document from those comments it will give. So it'll say, you might want to consider a longer period for retention of certain documents. Do you think this is an interesting comment? Say yes, then it applies it, and it goes straight into the red line into your document. And then recently, and I think all of these tools are going to go into that direction, they're creating AI agents, which means that they really allow you to go much deeper into drafting. So you could upload a term sheet of 2 pages, which refers to 4 different contracts, and you could say, or you could ask the tool, prepare the 4 contracts based on this term sheet.
It's not so much you personally that are using these tools, but you allow the business to use those tools. Could you elaborate a bit more on that?
I'm very open. I say, I'm going to send you, in the interest of time, first of all, I'm going to send you the feedback that this tool is giving me. Take a look at that, review the document based on that input, and then come back to me and let's start carving marble.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're transparent and you tell them that, they actually like it because, first of all, they get feedback much quicker. They immediately get a high-level feedback. And I think people also appreciate the fact that you're testing new things, which gives you also an edge in respect of maybe other people who are not using that and who take more time or who are more conservative.
How do you see the role of in-house legal counsel changing in the next few years?
The role of in-house counsel won't fundamentally change, I believe. It will still be someone who protects the interests of the company in a technical context which remains reserved to the legal profession. So I don't think we need to be afraid that the job would disappear, but it will fundamentally change because the efficiency of this profession will be massively impacted by AI.
I do believe that there's a huge opportunity for in-house legal teams to position themselves differently now. I think it's long overdue now for the legal department to catch up with a bit internally, also getting on the train of automation, of thinking in terms of business metrics, business intelligence, and so on. There is so much to be done, and I think it's all going to benefit the companies themselves. It's an exciting time, I find, very much so.
Then I have another question. How do you see the role of alternative legal service providers in the adoption and the change for legal departments?
There's going to be more and more demand for this type of support. I think also the economic model of those service providers is in the sweet spot of what legal departments need. It's the reason I reached out in the first place to ask you. And the next step is to use this type of specialist consultants who have a very good technical understanding and a very good legal understanding to come in and help companies and legal departments to build exactly what they need and to train their people. It might even be more efficient to bring in an outsider who has exactly the knowledge of what is there in the market and can give you the tools very quickly rather than developing everything in-house, because that can also slow down the implementation.
How do you make sure within your organization that the data stays safe and that it's not going where you don't want it to go, essentially?
Take the time to quickly review your terms and conditions with outside providers just to make sure that this whole AI sphere and source protection is covered.
Okay, we're nearing towards the end. I'm soon going to wrap up. Before I do that, are there any parting words or best practices, tips, or other things you want to pass along to our audience?
For me, the message would be to start experimenting. It's so easy now. There are so many tools, so easily accessible. I think very quickly you get the potential and the hype around all this.
Yeah, I think participate as much as you can in this type of conversations. Exchange, because there's new providers all the time. There's new solutions all the time. There's tips from all sides. And I think if you're isolated and you don't know what's going on, you're not going to be able to jump on that train.
My sort of parting words are focus on training. AI is a skill. Spotting where to use AI is a skill. knowing how to prompt is a skill. So just making Copilot available and expecting people to suddenly be prompt wizards will not happen. Those are things we help with doing the training. I also think focusing on use case. So the training is really focused on bottom up, focusing on use cases, doing workshops to discover where there's high volumes. Those are also things we typically do. And then finally, contracting. Yeah, definitely have a look if you're a high volume contract business, and most organizations are. That's really a prime zone to start the AI journey. And those are sort of the things that I would recommend, and we often help our clients with.